125-year-old, like
I see. He was trying to live to be 125.
yeah. And in India, actually, a lot of, if you see like 70, oh, before, we are live. We
Yeah,
are
we're
live.
live. We're live.
Okay, let's begin.
Okay, so we'll begin, and I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, will I? After we're finished? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Khushboo and I are reading from the Bhagavad Gita. Khushboo is reading from the Sanskrit, and I am reading from 3 different translations. The first one that I'm reading is by Laurie Patton. Laurie Patton is the president of Middlebury College, and it's the Penguin Classic. It's in verse, which I happen to like very much personally. The second version is more prose, and this is translated by Shri Purohit Swami, annotated by Kendra, Crossen, Burroughs, and it is published by the SkyLight Path Publishing. And the third version is the Bhagavad Gita translated by Ram Karan Sharma, R.K. Sharma, with Carol Pitts and Les Morgan. It is sort of a between prose and verse version. But anyway, so today we're reading Discourse 8, verses 15 to 28. Slok 15.
Mamu petya punajanma dukhalaya mashashvatam natnuvanti mahatmanah sansidhinda parama gataha. So 15.
Okay, I'm gonna, that's right. Mute yourself between readings because we have a lot of background noise in Bangalore today. Okay, so Slok 15. When they come near to me, these great selves who have gone to the highest fulfillment do not reach another birth, that impermanent place of sorrow. That's the Patton. The prose reads, coming thus unto me, these great souls go no more to the misery and death of earthly life, for they have gained perfection. The Sharma reads, having come to me, these great souls who have gone to supreme perfection are never subjected to rebirth, the transient abode of miseries. Slok 16.
Abraha bhuvanal lokaha punaravarti nodarjuna mamu petya tu konteya punajanma na vidhate. Slok 16.
The worlds are always returning again to birth, up to the world of Brahman. But when one has come near to me, one does not find another rebirth, son of Kunti. The prose reads, the worlds with the whole realm of creation come and go, but O Arjuna, whoso comes to me, for him there is no rebirth. The Sharma reads, O Arjuna, the worlds up to the abode of Brahman dissolve and return again. On the other hand, O son of Kunti, having come to me, there is no rebirth. Slok 17.
सहस्र युग पर्यंत मह यंदहनो विदुः रात्रि युग सहस्रांता तेह हो रात्रविदो जनाः. Slok 17.
The ones who know that a day of Brahma ends at 1,000 yugas and that his night ends at 1,000 yugas are the ones who know the day and the night. The prose reads, those who understand the cosmic day and cosmic night know that one day of creation is 1,000 cycles and that the night is of equal length. And there's a footnote. Cycles, Mahayugas, or great ages. A Mahayuga is made of the 4 yugas or ages. See chapter 4, note 6, and is said to last for 4,320,000 years. 1,000 such cycles equal 1 kalpa. At the end of the cosmic day of Brahman, the dissolution, pralaya, of the universe occurs, in which the phenomenal world is withdrawn from manifest existence. During the night of Brahma, only the subtle dimensions of the cosmos, inhabited by the deities and sages, exist. When Brahma awakens from his sleep, the world is created anew. After a cycle of cycles, the entire universe, including the god of creation itself, Brahma, is absorbed back into the absolute Brahman in a great dissolution, Mahapralaya. Sharma reads, those who know that the day of Brahma extends up to the 1,000 yugas and his night extends to 1,000 yugas, they are the knowers of day and night. Slok 18.
अव्यक्तकादव्यकतयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्यहरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्त सज्जन के. Slok 18.
At the coming of day, all those things which have form come from that which is formless. At the coming of night, they are dissolved at random into that which is known as the formless. That was the Patton. The prose reads, at the dawning of that day, all objects in manifestation stream forth from the unmanifest, and when evening falls, they are dissolved into it again. And the Sharma reads, from the unmanifest, all manifestations come forth at daybreak. At nightfall, they dissolve into that alone, known as the unmanifest. And there's a note here, compare verse 9-7, Slok 19.
भूतग्राम स एवाय भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रतीयते रात्रया गमेदवशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यहरागमे. Slok 19.
The great group of beings is born again and dissolved at the coming of night. It comes into being again at the coming of day, son of Prita. And the prose reads, the same multitude of beings which have lived on earth so often, all have dissolved as the night of the universe approaches, to issue forth anew when morning breaks. Thus is it ordained. The Sharma reads, this very multitude of beings born again and again is irresistibly dissolved at the coming of night and comes forth at the coming of day, O son of Prita. And there's a footnote. In verse 7:6, Krishna previously identified himself as the source of both the creation and the disappearance of the universe. Verses 8:18 to 19 describe that never-ending cycle. Slok 20.
Parastasmat tatu bhavodanyodavya aptodavya aptaka kastana tanah yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatasu na vinashati. Slok 20.
But higher than this is another state of being, which is also formless. It is higher than that formless state existent from the beginning. And when all beings are lost, it does not die. And the prose reads, in truth, therefore, there is the eternal unmanifest, which is beyond and above the unmanifest spirit of creation, which is never destroyed when all these beings perish. And there are two footnotes. The eternal unmanifest is an imperishable state distinct from the unmanifest spirit of creation, ayatkata. And the unmanifest spirit of creation, ayakata, is likened by Yogananda to a temporary resting place for souls that have not achieved enlightenment at the time of cosmic dissolution. They continue their journey when a new cycle of creation issues forth. The Sharma reads, on the other hand, beyond the unmanifest, there is another eternal unmanifested state of being, which is not destroyed even after the destruction of all beings. Slok 21.
Avyatodakshara ityuktastamahu paramagatima ya prapyana nivartante sandrama parava mama. Slok 21.
The Patton translation reads, it is said that the imperishable is unseen. They call that the highest way. When they reach this, they do not return. That is my highest abode. The prose reads, the wise say that the unmanifest and indestructible is the highest goal of all. When once that is reached, there is no return. That is my blessed home. The Sharma reads, this latter unmanifested state is said to be imperishable. Wise ones say it is the supreme goal. After attaining that supreme abode of mind, they do not return to the worldly cycles of birth and death. Slok 22.
Purushah sa para partha bhaktya labhya savarnanyaya yasyantah sthani bhutani yena sarva minda tatam. Slok 22.
The Patton translation reads, Son of Prita, this highest being is reachable by singular devotion. All beings stand within it. This whole world is woven through it. The prose reads, O Arjuna, the highest God in whom all beings abide and who pervades the entire universe is reached only by wholehearted devotion. The Sharma reads, O son of Prita, I think, that supreme consciousness in whom all beings reside and by whom all this is pervaded is certainly obtainable only with undivided devotion. Slok 23.
In my translation here, it says undivided love, not the devotion. Just adding it.
Undivided love. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slok 23. Yatra kale tvanavrutimavruttaha chaiva yoginaha prayata yanti ta kala vakshayami bharatashyamabha. Slok 23.
Bull of Bharatas, I will tell you the time when those who practice yoga depart, and the time of their returning and not returning. The prose reads, Now I will tell you, O Arjuna, of the times at which, if the mystics go forth, they do not return, and at which they go forth only to return. And there's a long footnote here, verses 23 to 26. Different courses after death have been pointed out by the Hindu scriptures in order to warn people against neglecting self-knowledge and to exhort them to realize Brahman, which alone is the source of peace and happiness. According to the Hindu scriptures, all living beings, without any exception whatsoever, will attain self-knowledge and liberation, according to Nikalananda. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But if not, then there is very possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment, by accident or arrangement. The Sharma reads, Now at what time yogins, upon passing away, return or do not return to the cycle of birth and rebirth, I will explain that time, O bull of the Bharatas. Slok 24.
It is the slok is talking about a specific Hindu concept called mukti.
Mukti.
Mukti is liberation. Liberation from the cycle of birth and rebirth.
Right, okay. Yeah, everybody thinks that Indians want reincarnation, but actually
they want mukti.
They want mukti, which is release from
Release, yeah.
Release
It's not
from,
freedom. It's not freedom, it's release. It's like out of jail finally, something like that.
right.
Yeah. So slok 23,
20, that was slok 23. Now we do slok
24. Yes.
24. Yeah.
Agni Jyotirah Shuklah Shanmasha Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vido Janaha. Slok 24.
In light, fire, and day, or the waxing moon of the month, and the 6 months of the sun's northern path, then at that time the ones who know Brahman go to Brahman. That was the Patton. Here's the prose. If knowing the Supreme Spirit, the sage goes forth with fire and light in the daytime, in the fortnight of the waxing moon, and in the 6 months before the northern summer solstice, he will attain the Supreme. And there's a footnote. 6 months before the northern summer solstice, the 6 months of the sun's northward course, according to Vedic astrology, are from the middle of January to the middle of July. The day on which the sun begins its journey to the northern hemisphere, when the sun enters the sign of Capricorn, is a day of celebration known as Makar Sankranti, observed by Hindus every January 14th. Okay. The Sharma reads, people who are knowers of Brahman go to the Brahman when passing away with fire, light, daytime, the bright half of the lunar month, and in the 6 months when the sun is in the northern solstice. Slok 25.
Dhumo Ratistha Krishna Parnamasa Dakshinayanama Tatra Chandramasah Jyoti Yogi Prapya Nirvatarte. Slok 25.
The Patton translation reads, in night and smoke and the darkening moon of the month, and the 6 months of the sun's southern path, then reaching lunar light, the one who practices yoga comes back. And Sri Purohit Swami says, but if he departs in gloom at night during the fortnight of the waning moon and in the 6 months before the southern solstice, then he reaches but lunar light, and he will be born again. And the Sharma reads, the yogin returns to the cycle of birth and death on attaining the light of the moon, when passing away with smoke, night, the dark half of the lunar month, and in the 6 months when the sun is in the southern solstice. Slok 26.
Shukla Krishne Gati Gyete Jagatah Sashvate Mate Ekaya Yatya Navrutti Manya Ya Vartate Punaha. Slok 26.
These two ways of light and dark are thought to be eternal for the world. By the first, one does not come back. By the other, one comes back again. And the prose reads, this bright and dark These bright and dark paths out of the world have always existed. Whoso takes the former returns not. He who chooses the latter returns. And there's a footnote. Nope, not on that verse. The Sharma reads, truly, these white and black paths of the world are considered to be eternal. By one, he attains non-return to the cycle of birth and death. By the other, he returns again. Sloka 27.
Nete Shruti Partha Janan Yogi Muhyati Kashchana Tasmat Tassa Veshu Kaleshu Yoga Yuktako Bhavarjun. Sloka 27.
Son of Prita, knowing these two paths, the one who practices yoga is not at all confused. Because of this, Arjuna, at all times be joined to yoga. And the prose reads, O Arjuna, the saint, knowing these paths, is not confused. Therefore, meditate perpetually. And the Sharma reads, knowing these two paths, no yogin is deluded at all, O son of Prita. Therefore, at all times be engaged in yoga, O Arjuna. Sloka 28.
Vedeshu Yagyeshu Tapahashu Chaiva Daneshu Yatyuyuna Kalaha Pradishtama Atyeti Tatasa Varmidaha Viditva Yogi Param Sthanamupeti Chadhama. Sloka 28.
The Patton verse reads, knowing all this, one who practices yoga moves beyond the pure fruit fixed in the Vedas, in sacrifices, in gifts, and in heated discipline. He goes to the ancient highest place. And the prose reads, the sage who knows this passes beyond all merit that comes from the study of the scripture, from sacrifice, from austerities and charity, and reaches the supreme primeval abode. And there was a footnote on the last verse that I didn't read, which said, therefore meditate perpetually, alternatively at all times be in yoga. And that was by Aurobindo. And then the Sharma reads, on knowing this, the yogin goes beyond all the fruit of righteousness which is spelled out in the Vedas, in sacrifices, in austerities, and even in charity. He attains the supreme primal abode. And the colophon reads, here ends the 8th chapter named the Yoga of the Imperishable Brahman in the Upanishads, sung by Lord Shri Krishna in the dialogue between Shri Krishna and Arjuna in the scripture of yoga pertaining to knowledge about Brahman. So tomorrow we will be beginning chapter 9, Discourse 9. And Discourse 9 is called The Sovereign Secret. So everybody loves a secret. We're going to hear all about it tomorrow, or maybe not all about it, but we're going to hear about it tomorrow. Do you have a sense of what verses we'll read tomorrow?
Yeah. I want to read a small passage which is So in the book which I am reading called My Gita,
Mm-hmm.
it's a modernized illustrated version, and in which for the young mind, in which chapter 9 is called You and I Hesitate to Trust. And it said in the introduction that connecting with the other is not easy, especially when we look upon each other as a predator or prey, rival or mate. In such a situation, we trust no one but ourselves, as animals tend to do, or we trust the other only in situations or extreme helplessness, as only human can. Thus, we become asuras and devas. Krishna discusses the difference between two in chapter 6 of the 16 of the Gita, but we discuss it much earlier here. Okay, this is uh, understand God before we plunge into conversation about God. This begin these beings are not out there in the world, but very much in here, in our mind, heart, soul, and existence. Yeah, that's the introduction of chapter 9
Okay,
from
so
there.
that's the secret that I suppose um, that God is within us. It's not out there in the universe, and this is the big secret that um, various theologians try to hide from us.
And this is what the Nietzsche said, right? Like the outside God, which we all, which Asian people created, is dead.
Yeah,
There is a good and it's exactly what Nietzsche said. For me, what I read just now, it resonates what Nietzsche said. The good and evil, the line between that, it passes through all the hearts.
yeah,
It's not external. The God
yeah.
is, yeah.
So basically, the God that Christianity sold humanity for 1,500 years, and the Jews before them, this God that's out there in the universe has been proven by the scientific method not to exist at all. We can see back to the Big Bang, we can see down to the smallest particle, and we haven't found God yet. And so, what does that mean? It means that God is inside us. It's in the heart. It's and that's a big secret uh,
So then
because.
I
Go
think
ahead.
Christianity gave the solution also. It's a Luciferian doctrine thinking that uh, I will find it out in my intelligence what the bloody God is. You see?
So that's you're saying that's Luciferian thinking.
Yeah, there's certain kind of arrogance. Is like humility of the human is not there when we are trying to prove the existence of God in our limited mind and understanding. Right? Like there is certain kind of
Right.
intellect, arrogance that scientific achievement has given us, like power to know, power to understand, power to um, interpretation of the way things are, and choosing to decide that this interpretation is the interpretation. So that is
Right. Okay. So
in
that
the limitations of human mind.
so Christianity says that's Luciferian. We don't want you to think that way. We want you to believe in God the way we say it is, right?
Maybe I don't know about the much of the Christianity, but the way I understand how Jordan Peterson explained, he's my teacher in all of this basically, that in your heart, what Lucifer do, Yoda might agree. What Lucifer do is that he's sitting on the throne of the. I only understand stories. For me, these are stories, okay, which my favorite person told me, kind of,
Hmm.
that Lucifer sits on the throne of the hell, decides what the sin you did, and then give you punishment accordingly, and then you are free to go to a heaven after you finish your, right.
Right. Yeah.
So imagine now if we can internalize it, it's like when we judge somebody, then we raise ourselves on that, in our heart, on that throne of the hell, where we decide you did this, so you deserve this.
Right.
When that is over, you can go to heaven.
Right.
Everybody is good. So that is how I see it, like how I can internalize it. So
Yeah.
when we start judging somebody, we have raised ourselves on the throne of hell and doing what Lucifer is supposed to do. What we
Right. When my daughter said, "I'm sorry to say this to you, Dad, but I think you're going to hell," she was sitting on that throne. Unfortunately.
or she assumes that you are sitting on that throne.
Well, but she's the one that's judging because I wasn't judging on that occasion.
No, but she assumed that you are judging. That's what I'm saying. She was of course judging, but that's the other way I can think of. I'm not saying, like, we can
Yeah.
never decide, right? Like we are also judging that what she meant. So
Right.
that is
Okay.
also
That's
same
fair enough.
same thing.
That's fair enough. And I have to say that she was right. Okay, because I dropped into hell at that moment, and it took me 10 years to find my way out. Okay,
Yeah.
very much
I
so.
am I am climbing out of it. That's what I am feeling.
Well, I'm trying. Uh, I am
Anyways,
climbing out
let's
too. So Dan C here says Lucifer symbolizes more than just evil. Yes, he symbolizes um, lots of things. And Logan Gomez says the Bhagavad Gita is so complex. Yeah, and so I guess we'll leave it at that. So thank you for tonight, Khushboo, and I will
thank
see you
you.
tomorrow for the beginning of Discourse 9, the
Yeah.
Supreme Secret. Okay, so peace.
Yeah.
Have a
Peace.
great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye. Good night.